In 1948, two brothers closed a restaurant that was making money. They kept it shut for 3 months. They fired their own staff and smashed their own dishwasher. Then they drew a kitchen on a tennis court, in chalk. You eat from that drawing today. Start with what they were breaking. Dick and Mac McDonald opened a drive-in barbecue in San Bernardino in 1940. It worked. Cars filled the lot. The money came in. The menu ran to about 25 items. Barbecue ribs, sandwiches, the lot. Car hops walked orders out to your window. The food arrived on real crockery, with real cutlery. That is a restaurant, and it was a good one. So the interesting question is not how they got rich. It is why two men with a working business took a hammer to it. And why, 6 years later, a milkshake machine salesman would get on a plane because of a single order. Because most owners look at a queue and order more menus. Here is the part everyone misses. Before they touched anything, they read their own receipts. Not a survey, not a hunch, the actual paper. And the paper said something uncomfortable. The overwhelming majority of their money came from a tiny slice of the menu. Above all, one item, the hamburger. Everything else was noise. Noise with a supplier, a prep station, and a cook behind it. Every one of those 25 items was quietly buying complexity with your kitchen space. Most owners in 1948 guessed. These two counted. That is the difference between checking your bank statement and guessing where the money went. Everyone knows which is smarter. Almost nobody opens the statement. Sounds familiar? In October 1948, they closed. Not for a refit, for 3 months. They let the car hops go. They ripped out the barbecue pit. They got rid of the dishwasher because there would be nothing left to wash. The menu went from about 25 items to 9. Hamburger, 15 cents. Cheeseburger. Fries, 10 cents. A shake at 20 cents. Soft drinks. Prices roughly halved. No plates. Paper wrappers, paper bags, paper cups. No cutlery. No waiters. You walked to a window. You carried your own food. Self-service was not the big idea. Self-service was the leftover. It is what remained after they deleted everything that slowed the food down. That is fixing a slow laptop by deleting the programs. It works, and it still offends people. Now the part that should be famous, and is not. Behind the McDonald house was a tennis court. The brothers went out there at night with their designer's assistant, Charles Fish, and a bucket of chalk. They drew the kitchen at full size on the ground. Every grill, every counter, every fryer in its exact footprint. Then they walked their crew through the entire service, in real time, on chalk. A man reached for a chalk drawer that did not exist, so they moved it. They stayed out there for about 8 hours. They erased and redrew the whole layout 3 separate times. Rain came and washed the chalk off the court, so they drew it again. No steel had been bought, no wall had been built, nothing had cost them $1. They were running a simulation of a factory floor in 1948 on a tennis court with chalk. The most valuable thing they built that year was not the restaurant. It was the drawing. You still eat from it. That is measuring the sofa before you buy the sofa. It only became genius because nobody else bothered. When they reopened in December 1948, the kitchen was a production line. One station, one job, one motion. The grill man only grilled. He never dressed a burger. The dresser only dressed. The fry man only fried. Nobody crossed the floor to fetch anything because the chalk had already removed the crossing. The equipment was then built to fit the layout, not the other way round. A pump that put the identical dose of condiment on every single burger. A stainless counter with no wasted reach in it. You ordered and the food was in your hand in roughly 30 seconds. At a normal drive-in, you waited many minutes for the same burger. Nobody was told to work faster. The work itself had been redesigned. The whole industry copied this within a decade. It took them 10 years to find a tape measure. Now the milkshake machines. In 1954, a salesman called Ray Kroc sold multi-mixers. Each machine made several shakes at once. Most restaurants owned one. Then an order arrived from a single small restaurant in San Bernardino. For 8. Kroc could not work out what kind of building needed 8, so he flew across the country to look at it. What he saw was not a recipe. It was a process running at a speed he did not believe. Kroc's genius was not invention, it was replication. He franchised the system, so the process itself became the product. Fred Turner turned the method into written standard work and training. By 1961, that was Hamburger University. The specification went absurdly deep. Potatoes were held to a solids content of 20 to 23%. That is why a fry 1,000 miles away tastes like the fry you had last week. In 1961, Kroc bought the brothers out for $2.7 million. The men who designed the system stopped owning it, and almost every company still does this backwards. They buy the shoes, then decide where to walk. I have spent a lot of my career doing the tennis court version of this. A small family-owned business was producing machines that took up most of their shop floor. Space was highly limited. They could only do first in, last out because of the linear spacing they had. Their throughput was always slow, and they had to apologize to their clients repeatedly. I went through a full redesign of the floor with them. We reorganized how the work flowed and how the space was used. The biggest change was the ability to reshuffle the layout into a first in, first out process. That let the first machine actually leave the floor, instead of being jammed in by the ones built after it. Throughput went up by 30%. No additional space purchased. Talk about getting a bang for your buck. So here is the part that survives 1948. They did not speed anyone up. They redesigned the work. Every bottleneck they removed was a decision, not an effort. And they proved the design before they spent, using about 8 hours and a bucket of chalk. Nearly every organization you have worked in does this in the opposite order. The building goes up, the software gets bought, the team is hired, then everybody spends years working around a layout that nobody ever drew. You can run the tennis court test on your own work this week. Take one process you own. Count where the money and the time actually go. Then walk it, physically or on paper, before you change a single thing. Chalk was available in 1948. It is still available now, so the whole method fits on one card. Count, delete, simulate, separate, standardize. 5 moves, 1 tennis court, and not a dollar spent before they knew it worked. You have been eating from that card ever since. Read that card once more, because next time you are going to watch it run backwards. There is a version of this story where nobody draws anything in chalk. 1 file, 1 update. Push to every machine in the world on the same morning and test it on all of them at once. The brothers took 8 hours to find their mistakes on an empty court. This company found theirs in public before lunch. If you want to get better at how work actually works, subscribe. One system taken apart every week. That teardown is on your screen right now. Same 5 moves. Running backwards. Watch it while the card is still fresh.